Till now we discussed certain taxes. Okay, the taxes which are levied, collected and appropriated by the central government as well as the state government. Then we discuss grants, statutory grants, discretionary grants and other grants. Now we will discuss about GST. Okay, after GST implementation, there are many taxes which are levied by the central government and levied by the state government, collected and appropriated by central and state. Those were subsum under the GST. Okay, so GST was implemented in the year 2017. Okay, but in Indian politics, in the year 2003, during Vajpayee government, at that time Vajpayee government has appointed one commission, task force, that is Kelkar task force on indirect taxes. Acha, before GST you must understand what is direct tax and what is indirect taxes. If the tax is levied on an individual and individual is paying the tax, that is a direct tax. If the tax is levied on individual but third party is paying the tax, okay, that is called indirect taxes. Now take an example, GST only you take, or import duty you take. Right, you know import duty, import tax. Whenever you are buying certain goods from the foreign country, right, at that time you need to pay the tax, that is import duty, right. So there if you observe, do you pay the import duty to government? No, you will pay the import duty to seller, and seller will pay that import duty to the government on behalf of you, on behalf of you. GST is also like that. GST is, you know, levied on us, but directly we are not paying GST to government, right? We will pay the GST to the seller, and seller will collect all the GST from all the customer, and seller will pay to the government. That type of tax, it is called what? Indirect taxes. So in the year 2003, one task force was established, Kelkar task force. Kelkar task force, that force was established. Okay, on what? To give recommendation on indirect taxes. To give recommendation on indirect taxes. And the task force has given a recommendation that comprehensive GST should be established based upon the principle of value added tax. Now what is value added tax? Whenever the value is added to the raw material, then the tax will be imposed. For example, flour, wheat flour. From wheat flour what we can prepare? Bread. Through bread they can prepare the sandwich. So right, so value is adding. So if the value is adding to a particular raw material, tax also should be added. So that is value added tax. So that Kelkar task force has given a recommendation to the government that introduce the comprehensive goods and service tax, which will be based upon the principle of value added tax. Anyway, in 2004 Vajpayee lost the elections and Congress party came into the power. Okay, UPA came into the power. Then in the year 2006 to 2007, that financial year budget, in that budget, that government has made a proposal that by this one, 1st April 2010, on 1st April 2010, they are going to introduce a national level goods and service tax. But government didn't do. Then again next, in the year 2014, BJP party formed the government at central level, and BJP party came to a concept called One Nation One Tax. Under that concept, they have introduced the GST Constitutional Amendment Bill, 122nd Constitutional Amendment Bill they have introduced. Okay, 122nd Constitutional Amendment Bill was introduced. That bill was passed in the year 2016 and made amendment to the Constitution, that is 101 Constitutional Amendment Act, and introduced the GST in our Indian Constitution. But remember, GST is there, right? So it is related to both central government as well as the state government. So third type of majority is required for amending the Constitution. We discussed, right? Three types of majority: simple majority, special majority, and special majority with rectification of more than half of the state. In that majority, this GST bill was passed, okay, and got the assent of the president, and GST was introduced on 1st July 2017. Okay. Now what is GST? What is GST? It is an indirect tax. Please don't tell GST means goods and service tax. That is the full form of GST. What is GST? It is an indirect tax which will be levied on the most of the goods and services in India for domestic consumption. Okay, if foreign consumption or what you call selling means import duty. But for domestic consumption we have a GST which is an indirect taxes. So what is that indirect taxes? It is paid by the whom? Customer. But it is remitted by whom? Seller, to the government. We discussed no direct taxes. GST is levied on us, but we are paying to seller. We are paying to whom? Seller. And seller is paying the GST tax amount to the government on behalf of us. So that is that. And there are certain taxes which are subsum or replaced under GST. What are those? From the central point of view, central government, what are the taxes which was subsum under GST? Service tax, central sales tax, central excise duty, then duty of excise on medicine and toiletry preparations, additional duty of excise on special importance good, additional duty of excise on textile and textile products, additional duty on customs, then special additional duty on customs. Okay, so these are the central government taxes which were subsum under GST. Okay, now there is no such separate tax, not there. If you go to restaurant also, they are not charging service tax to you. GST will be there. Okay, then from state point of view, what are the taxes which are subsum? State VAT or sales tax, VAT value added tax, sales purchase tax, entertainment and amusement taxes. You know entertainment taxes, theatre, amusement parks are there, na? Those things. But other than the this one, local bodies. You know local bodies, Panchayat Raj, urban local bodies, they also have a right to levy a tax on the entertainment and amusement park. Okay, so except those things, state can do that one. State can levy the taxes on entertainment and amusement. But now it is under a part of GST. Luxury tax, octroi duty, entry tax, taxes on lotteries, betting and gambling. We have now a lot of betting apps. Gambling apps are also there. Lotteries we have. Kerala is very famous for lottery. Those things. Taxes on advertisement. So these are the state government taxes which are now subsum under the GST. Okay, now there is no such taxes. Only GST is there. Either it is a goods or services. But there are certain goods or services which are exempted from the GST. There are certain goods or services are there which are not a part of GST. What are those? Basic custom duty on goods which are imported in India, import duty. Then surcharge on custom duty, custom cess, motor vehicle tax, stamp duty, excise duty on liquor, state government we discuss, excise duty on petroleum. That is the reason why different state is having different petrol and diesel price, right? VAT on petroleum product, VAT on tobacco product, anti-dumping duty and safeguard duty, toll tax and entertainment tax levied by local bodies. These are exempted from GST. Okay, GST is not implemented. Please remember 0% GST is different, exempted from the GST is different. 0% GST means it can be increased. Exempted from GST means GST is not applicable on those goods or services. That is the difference. So don't confuse. Exempted is different and 0% GST is different. Got it? Okay. So constitutional framework of GST. 101 Constitutional Amendment Act. Through that amendment GST was introduced. Right, and we discuss what are the central government taxes and state government taxes which are subsum in GST, and what are the exempted goods or services from GST, that we discuss. Now we will discuss about the constitutional framework of GST. Under Article 246, what is that? Both state and central as well as the state legislature, they have a power, concurrent power to make a law related to GST. On GST, who will make law? Both Parliament as well as the state legislature can make the law. Okay, related to GST, yeah, both can do. We'll discuss on them. But regarding the interstate trade and commerce, only Parliament has a power to make law on GST. Interstate. Okay, that thing is there. Then under Article 269A, it is added. It is added. 269A. 269A, it is clearly mentioned that Parliament, central government will levy the GST, collect the GST, levy the GST, collect the GST, and appropriated that GST between the center and state. On what? On interstate trade and commerce. On interstate trade and commerce. On taxes, GST on interstate trade and commerce, central government will levy, central government will collect, but that is distributed between the central government and state government. That is the article which is added. Earlier it was not there. Then 279A. 279A, that is also added. What says? According to the article 279A, President shall establish the GST Council. President shall establish the GST Council and President should define its function and composition. Okay, so GST Council is a constitutional body, remember, under Article 279A. Okay, and next, this GST amendment bill was there, na? Act 101 Constitutional Amendment Act. This also changes. Amended Article 249. What is that? Under, if Rajya Sabha pass a resolution due to national importance, reason is national importance. Okay, so if there is a national importance and Rajya Sabha pass that resolution with special majority, at that time Parliament can make law on GST rather than Parliament and states or GST Council. Generally GST Council will do all those things. Okay, so rather than the Parliament and state combined together, under Article 249 it is says that if there is any national interest, at that time, if Rajya Sabha pass the resolution with special majority, okay, in that case, law related to the GST will be prepared by Parliament, or Parliament has empower to make law on GST. Got it? That is there. Then next, 250 also amended. Under 250 it is mentioned that whenever there is a national emergency, at that time Parliament has a power to make the law related to GST. Emergency here, national emergency, financial emergency and president rule also. If such thing emergency there, emergency period, Parliament has a power to make a law related to GST, not the Parliament and state legislature. 268 also amended. Excise duty on medical and toilet preparation were there, right? So that were omitted from the state list. Now it is a part of GST. Okay, 268A, now no such service tax. The service tax is also subsum under GST. Okay, then 269. So 269 says that it is give power to the Parliament to make law related to GST on interstate trade and commerce. Interstate trade and commerce. So these are the changes done by 101 Constitutional Amendment Act. Got it? So this is about historical background of GST. What are the taxes which are subsum under GST? What are the this one, goods and services which are exempted from GST? Okay, and what are the changes done by 101 Constitutional Amendment Act to the Constitution?